You're watching Bantams SmallTalk, sponsored by Peckover Transport. We give you results, not excuses.
Nothing dodgy. Nothing dodgy. We want to film it because there's a lot of people, obviously, that's given and contributed that haven't been able to make it tonight. So we'll get it on film and they can see it. The other thing is, I've got two guys, one either side of me, two Bradford City legends. At least that's what John told me to call him. Starting out. Who actually do an awful lot for charity. I think I've seen John many times on Facebook and James, so that they're always willing to go along and help situations like this. So I thought what I'd do today is I thought I'll just have a quick look. I mean, John and I had a conversation, well, I listened to him mostly, 2 weeks ago. So I know a little bit more about John. But I wanted to have a look at the bio of these two players. And I thought, what I'll do tonight is I'll wing it. But when I looked at their careers, I thought there's no way I could wing this. So I made some notes, and I want to just take them through this to tell you who they are and why. I mean, John Hendrie, for 518 games. 518 games. You don't even know you played that yourself, though, do you? No. 118 goals. So, yeah, it's all. 518 games. Yeah. John started out. I remember John from Coventry, and I remember this slim, quiet, unassuming guy turning on at Coventry. But the thing about it was, he had thighs like a bloody ostrich on steroids, honestly. His big thighs that he's put to good use over the years. He had a favourite song at Coventry. He had a favourite song at Coventry as well. Do you remember your favourite song?
Oh, Susanna.
Oh, Susanna. In football terms, they used to get inauguration when the apprentices started. They had to do up in front of the first team squad and do something. And John's inauguration was to stand up in the dressing room, sing Oh Susanna with an air guitar. Now, things like that, I mean, it gets worse. Players were blacked up and Christ knows what, but you never get away with it these days.
Yeah, but no clothes on.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody noticed.
And then I had to stand in a stool and do it as well, and then all of a sudden, is that what all these stools are here for? I'm looking at the stools and I've got a phobia of stools since then, I'll tell you.
So looking at John's career, obviously Bradford, we're going to say, big Bradford, Newcastle, Leeds, Middlesbrough, and finishing up at Barnsley. And I've written down here accolades, because there are so many. 173 consecutive games for Bradford. I mean, that is incredible. 107 consecutive games. When you see these players in the Premier League now who go down, somebody passes wind and they fall over. I mean, to play 173 games for Bradford is absolutely fantastic. You must have been playing with injuries at some point.
Oh, obviously I did. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I've said many occasions they used to call me Man Friday because I wouldn't train all week, then just turn up on Friday morning to see if I was fit to play on a Saturday. And yeah, you weren't always fit. You weren't. If someone needs a favour, we grab my dog for us, please.
Andy, you're supposed to be off you.
Andy, you've got the best seat in the house. Milo. His name's Milo, alright.
Milo, come here. Milo O'Shea.
Right, Milo. I used to then Milo. Sorry about that. Yeah, obviously, I mean, I was fortunate that the manager would say, right, John, just get yourself fit for next Saturday. In the occasions when we did have cortisons, I mean, I would have it after a game, not before a game, and then just rest all week as such. But no, and I think we're more hardy in those days as well. I mean, we would take knocks and give and take as such, and I think it's fair to say that the players nowadays are a wee bit softer.
Yeah, get up and go.
Yeah, I agree, John.
So, no, and of course as well, I mean, at City then, there was a very small squad as well. I think certainly that first year we only had about 14 or 15 players.
Yeah. John's also got, of course, the accolade at Bradford City of having the John Hendrie Lounge in there, which is a great thing. So it's how much that Bradford really thought about John to have a lounge named after him at the ground. We had a look in there last week. There's nobody in it, but it was really good. John also scored the last goal at Hanson Park, I think. Yeah, that's right. The last goal ever scored there. John was also voted in numerous PFA teams, whatever division he was in. He was normally in the PFA teams that season. And that is really a great accolade, because the PFA thing is players who you play against and play with who are voting for you. So I mean, when somebody does that, that's the highest honour you can get. That your teammates and the people you play against really appreciate you. The other thing was that I was surprised, didn't know this. You might know this actually. You were the first Scot to score a hat trick in the Premier League.
He'll know that.
Talk us through that. That was against Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, I tell everyone that. Yeah, that was the season 92-93. And Kennedy Dalglish was my hero as a wee boy growing up in Glasgow, always been a Celtic fan. And he brought his Blackburn Rovers team to Hanson Park, December 92. Hanson had scored the first Premier League hat-trick, Matt Robbins the second one, and I get the third one that day.
I think you were two down, weren't you?
No.
Oh, right.
No, Jimmy Phillips, I don't think so anyway. I think the hat-trick came about 15 minutes or something, and at the time, it's like the last goal at Hanson Park. You don't think, oh, that's iconic. I mean, the first Scotsman to score a hat-trick, or the last goal at Hanson Park. You don't think along those lines. All you think about on the day is getting the 3 points and winning a football match. And it's only years later when people point things like that out. I mean, you're on about that the last goal at Hanson Park there. Obviously, iconic. But the following week, we played away at Tranmere, and I got hoisted on someone's shoulders, and my boots get nicked. I swear to God, my boots get nicked off us. So of course, iconic pair of boots and what have you. Cool. Anyway, roll on a few years later, and the club had won the left boot in their case at the football club, because the guy had nicked it, had borrowed it to the club. Years later, he sold it. For nicked that boot, and he made a few quid out of it. He sold that boot. But the actual one, I thought it just disappeared. I had no idea. And then one of my ex-teammates, Bernie Slavin, says, "Oh, my mate's got your boot." I said, "What boot?" He says, the last goal at Hanson Park. And I went, "You're joking me?" I couldn't believe it. You're talking 25 years later now. So he says, "What, do you want it back?" I said, "Well, yeah, it would be nice." It's my boot, and he nicked it off us. I says, and it's like, it's quite an iconic moment, that. So I got it back, and it's in a little case of frame, a little bookcase. It's
fantastic to look back.
So yeah, it's that. But like I say, in those days, you don't think of. You think you just win a football game, don't you, James? Yeah. All you're born about is getting the 3 points. That's your job, not for scoring a last goal or hat tricks.
And could I just say that I actually know that answer because your lad Luke used to be a quizmaster at Grimsby.
Oh, did he?
And on the away games, he produced the quiz questions and stuff, and that popped up ironically.
Really?
The Scotsman, yeah. And none of us got it.
Do you know what, I can add to that, none of us got it, because it's up in Scotland, Radio Clyde is the radio station, and one of the questions one week was name the 6 Scotsmen. There was only 6 Scotsmen scored hat-trick, and my brother was listening to it, and my brother got 5 and then never got me. His little brother, true story. Yeah, he forgot all about it. Yeah.
One thing that I didn't know, actually, just talking a bit off script, but I didn't realise that Lee Hendrie at Villa was your cousin.
Yeah.
And Paul Hendrie was a professional. That was his father, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of football in your family.
Yeah, my Uncle Paul, he sort of he was at Birmingham, then out to the States, played with Portland Timbers, and you go into his profile picture on his WhatsApp, and basically it's him playing for Portland Timbers against Pelé when he was at Cosmos. Yeah, that's what a profile. No AI in those days, and what a profile picture that is. Yeah, so that's, and he was married to Brummie, and that's why Lisa Brummie is such. Yeah, but when I watch the Sky Sports News, I mean, I see that Sue Smith, I see Lee, but I can't tell the difference who's who. I've got the same haircut, haven't I? Is he alright?
Yeah, it's good. Milo's doing well. The other thing is, John was Player of the Year at Newcastle in 1988-89. Then, when you came towards the end of your career, John, at Barnsley, you got Player of the Year in 96-97. And then in 98-99 you became Barnsley manager. So my big question to you is, as Barnsley manager, did you pick yourself?
Yeah, but I also got Player of the Year at Bradford and Borough.
Oh, I know, yeah, but he knows enough, isn't he?
He's running out of paper. He's running out of paper.
I've still got the trophy. Well, the little awards I got in my eldest lad Joe. I mean, we just brought that up this week because he's got a tradesman over at his house doing some work for him, a decorator, a big City fan, and he saw the award on the side, and he put it two and two together and says, "Is that that?" He said, "Yeah, yeah." And I says, "Joe, just make sure you don't nick it." But Barnsley, it was like playing manager as such, which is the hardest job in the world because you're in the dressing room. First and foremost, I went to Barnsley, helped him get into the top flight, and Barnsley, in all their 150-year history, they've only been in the top flight one season, in all that time. So you're part of their history as such, and it was twilight years, but magical time down there, for truth be told. I mean, and Barnsley is very parochial, probably the most parochial football club I've played for. When you first went in there, I was about 33 when I went there, and you see they're just wary of you, thinking, "Oh, has he just come in for a payday?" They're unsure of you. But if you do well for them, they take you to their hearts. And every time I go down there, I mean, they always look after us and make us feel ever so welcome to do it. It's a bit like City, and that actually it was quite iconic in respects. When Barnsley did get promoted, it was against City, and a lot of City fans stayed behind after the game and applauded Barnsley. So that meant a lot to it. That was a nice touch.
So, John, you had what I would call, before we go on to James, the traditional route into football. In that, I think you were 16 when you went to Coventry.
Yeah.
Did you stay in Catherine Street, or did you move to the Sky Blue Lodge back then?
No, Catherine Street.
You were in Catherine Street?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't an awful lot to do in Coventry, was there really?
No.
But you found it.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have a go-kart. The local cinema.
That's right, yeah.
Theatre 1 cinema. They used to give us a go-kart, or 2 go-karts, for the young apprentices to go and watch the movies and what have you. And the Theatre 1 was, let's say, obviously the current one, then maybe an old Theatre 2, maybe an old movie, then Theatre 3 was like Emmanuel, so the name sort of the ex Confession of a Winter Cleaner. I thought sort of things that James would go and see to Mansfield. So yes, but that was we saw every movie going in those days. It was well used. It was.
But you also had a gold card for Park Lane.
Do you know what, you talk about all these things. I mean, I went down when I was 16. I got married. It was 4 weeks after the fire. We got married. So it's about 41 years this year we've been married now. 41 years we've been married now.
Well, you might as well stick it out now.
My first girlfriend. Yeah, of course it was.
The only one.
He's not the only one, is he?
Well, that's shocking. I keep on saying that all the time. I was a good Catholic boy, a late starter. I never had my first girlfriend until 24 years of age.
Really?
I was married at 21.
Was it boys? Was it boys before that?
You know what I said. Yeah, married at 21.
A couple of things I wanted to ask you about, because you had the traditional route into football. What's your view on the academies these days? Because clubs are taking kids on between 5, 6 and 7-year-old. Now, if you talk to the academy managers, which I have, they'll say, well, it gives lots of kids big opportunities, but it also builds up a lot of hopes, and they get let down. And I think I'm right in saying, certainly back in the day, you know, you signed schoolboy forms first, and then at 16 you got an apprenticeship. But I think it only really started when you were in secondary school. I don't think it started at 5 and 7-year-old, did it?
No. And obviously Scottish boys couldn't sign schoolboy forms because we were at school up there, the remedial class. You know what that means, James, remedial? So we would, so at the age of 16 I went down to Coventry, and it's supposed to be a 2-year apprenticeship, but I signed pro after a year and what have you. But my own son Luke, obviously, I mean he's under 13s to 16 lead development coach at City.
Yeah.
And he loves it, absolutely loves it. He does. He loves it. He does. I mean he played, but when he was growing up, my wife and I made just paramount, so important, their education. And he got all his. I mean, the school were right behind him. St Mary's and Menston, they were right behind him. Yeah, it's a very good. All four went through that. And then he's even got a degree, even when he was playing the sports journalism and first class honours. So he is a great example for the young boys, certainly Bradford City, to get instill into their heads that education is just as important, if not more important, than the football as such.
True.
But if the truth be told, and you can ask any academy in the country, and a lot of times, sometimes the problems are the parents, where the expectation levels is too much.
100%.
And but I think it's got to be drilled into the parents' heads. They say, oh, we're let down, we're not done this, not done that. It's got to be drilled into the parents' heads that they have got to be firm with their kids with their education and maintain how important that is.
Totally. I mean, even my mate, Harry, he was running the youth at Coventry, and he was the one that gave the contracts out at the end of the year, and he had a situation where the parents came in, and he said, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make it on this occasion, and the parents said to him, he had over 500 games at top level like yourself, and they said to him, what do you know about football? It's the parents' expectation more than the kids themselves. I'm going to finish off now, John, really with yourself before I get on to James. But one thing, I probably know the answer to this actually, but I want to ask you who your favourite manager was.
Myself. So I could have days off whenever I wanted. I'm only joking. It varies, to be honest with you. Obviously, Dave Sexton, I think I was in the 13 in total. Dave Sexton gave me my debut as a young, I barely turned 18, top flight debut. Then Bobby Gould came in and he kicked me on the scrap heap. He was arguably one of the worst. He bullied me. I think he'd been in a week and I fined me a week's wages on an end of season tour. Then it was Gould, then obviously Trevor Terry Dolan, who both of them were brilliant in their own ways as such. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, they just let me play. Then at Newcastle was under, who was it? Willie McFall, Jim Smith. Then at Leeds, Wilkinson. I call him Wilkinson.
For a good reason.
I'll leave it at that. And then Middlesbrough, Colin Todd, Lenny Lawrence and Brian Robson, and then Danny Wilson. So that's what the managers are.
I would have put my house on you saying
Brian Robson. I thought, do you know what? He's a great guy. He's a brilliant guy.
Likes a pint at 10.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at people, I don't look at people of what they've achieved in the game. And bear in mind, he was Captain Marvel, England captain, Man United captain. That's by the by. I look at him as human beings, and he's an absolute gem of a guy. Even when it was at Middlesbrough, you speak about the big hitters they had there, the Brazilians. They had obviously the Juninho, Branco, Emerson. Them had the Italian, Ravanelli. The Brazilian guys were brilliant in the dressing room. Absolute fantastic.
Some fellow that got sold from Middlesbrough and replaced with Juninho. Who was that?
I don't know. no, I played with Juninho.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I played with Juninho. Yeah, played with him. And I got in his Borough 11, old team Borough 11 as well.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I think I only played once with him.
It was Craig Higg that replaced you, wasn't it?
No, I think you said before. Higgy made his debut when I scored my hat-trick against Blackburn. I'm on about there. Higgy made his home debut, and to this day he tells the story. He says that I was like the school bully pushing him out of the way to get my hat-trick as such. And I was actually, yeah. But no, I think he's top man. And I actually signed Craig for Barnsley. He was on his way to Manchester City, and he was at Aberdeen. But I flew up, as Barnsley manager, I flew up to Aberdeen to convince him that Barnsley was a bigger and better club than Man City.
Really? Takes some selling, that.
Oh, it does. I'll tell you, and to this day he says, John, but for you, I'll be a legend at City, not Barnsley. That's what he says.
I didn't think you'd want to mention Manchester City, because I think you got sent off against Man City, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Which was probably the goalkeeper were doing like Saka Spuds, Mike Still, and if I hadn't been sent off, I would have played the last game of the season, which would have been four consecutive years without missing a league game as such. But, but the referee was from Middlesbrough, who were going for promotion with us, and I've seen the guy since, and I'm convinced there's a wee bit of
a bit of skullduggery. hands together for a great guy. Normally you can't get a word out of John, so, you know, so grateful for that. It comes on to you now. You've been sat there, having a poke at him, you're not looking at me notes. So,
I'm
James,
looking at which bit's mine.
oh, yeah. So, James Hanson, 545 games in total, 143 goals. That's not a bad ratio, is it really?
I think that's wrong again, like John. I agree with John, man. I don't know what you're getting your info from.
Oh, I'm telling you, this is solid. This is honestly. But the funny thing with you was, it's not a funny thing, that at the age of 15, you got released by Huddersfield because you're too small. And then you ran home and slept in a grow bag for 6 months. I mean, how could you be too small? You're 6'4", is it?
Yeah, so, yeah, basically, I went to Huddersfield. I was playing up front for my local team, Bolton Woods, scoring a few goals, got scouted for Huddersfield. Because I was probably the only left-footed person that went there, they just found a position for me playing left-back. So, even though I wasn't enjoying it yet at all, but, you know, my dad was like, you know, keep going, hopefully, try and move up the pitch. I think I played a couple of games at left midfield. But, touching on what John says, I think they invested the time Huddersfield. They had 2 kids that was better than everyone else at the time, and you could see a lot of the training and stuff was around them. They thought they was going to make it.
Who was it, James?
It was Danny Hiley and Tom Clark, which Tom did eventually make it and have a good career. But yeah, they spent a lot of the time focusing on them lads, so we were sort of like just filled in and in around them. So when they obviously come for the meeting at, I think it was 15, when it was obviously before getting the scholarship, I was actually quite relieved, to be fair, that I got released, because, you know, for me, I wasn't really enjoying it, playing in a position that I didn't want to play. So yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise really to get released and then just to go back and play back up.
So how did the move come from there to striker?
Well, just because obviously I'd got released when I didn't want to play left back anyway, and I just went and started playing up front with my mates again.
Yeah.
And I was playing Sunday League for Eccleston United.
Yeah.
Obviously they had a Saturday team and a youth team after 16. And the youth team manager, Steve Watson, he got me into the youth team, and I think the first team manager got sacked after maybe 6 months. He obviously got the job, put through the younger lads, and then I made my first team debut, I think at 16 and a half, something like that, and played maybe a season in the North East counties, and from there, like I said, Terry Dolan was manager at Guiseley, and just local, when they play the West Riding County Cup games, we played Guiseley, and that time there's no such thing as contracts or all like that. It was literally you had to put 7 days in for a player, and then guys had to put 7 days in for me. So carried on there a couple of years there, and scored quite a few goals. Obviously Mega was the coach there, and fortunately for me at the time, Mega knew Stuart McCall. They was cutting the budget a little bit, and like I said to before, John helped me out with getting me in and sorting me out.
You were his agent, wasn't he, for a while?
Not an agent.
Well, he said he took a cut.
I didn't get an absolute penny out of it. No penny, did I?
No, I said that to him.
It's like a favour. And it's like, and I wasn't beaten with Dean Windass. I was never an agent. My mate, I never had an agent. My mate was a lawyer. And if you use a lawyer, it's like buying and selling a house or doing wills and what have you. And we were the exact same in that respect. It was just like, I'd help James out just as a favour.
Yeah, but it's, you know, you two guys, both very successful, but different routes into football. You know, the thing about you, James, is you were obviously so determined, because in your first season at Bradford, you got Player of the Year, and then to join Bradford, you took a 50% pay cut to join Bradford from non-league football and a job that you had. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it was John.
What an age!
No. Obviously at the time, you know, I was sort of proven in non-league, so to speak. You know, I think I scored 25 and 22 or something like that over 2 seasons. So I remember the manager at the time at Guiseley was like, he didn't want me to leave, but he sort of said, name whatever you want in terms of signing for next year. But obviously at the time, money wasn't really my objective. It was, going and trying to prove myself at a higher level. And like I said, thankfully, the people around John, Mark Ellis, obviously Stuart, they give me a chance.
I remember when Bradford made the offer, it was Mark Lohan. I think was it Mark Lohan? Was it Mark?
Yeah, Mark Lohan.
And I remember just saying to James, I says, James, it's laughable. I mean, you're better staying where you are financially. I says, but if I was you, I would take him, because it's just an opening into football, just an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did, pal.
Yeah. Where did it all go wrong? Anyway, I mean, one of your highlights, you scored at Wembley in the playoff final in 2013, but I also read, and this might be wrong as well, because you keep correcting me, you used a mind coach. You had a mind coach.
At the time, there was a guy called John Moranka that come in, and he worked with a lot of the players. It wasn't just me, it was literally every first team player. When Phil Parkinson come in, he wanted to change everyone's mindset. From obviously at the time we were struggling, Phil come in, he sort of steadied the ship, and then he wanted us to turn into obviously promotion the following year. So he got John in to work with a lot of the players just to reset the mind.
Well, it's commonplace these days, isn't it? Really, in the top form, they all have.
Nowadays it's. I think it was pretty unheard of back then when I was doing it. But I think now if you went into every club, I think they've probably got one now. So
I mean, one of the things you see is when you see the games these days, you see the teams come out, and then you see the people going in the dugout. There's more in the dugout than there is on the field. It's incredible. But anyway, I was going to ask you, leading up to that playoff final, the buzz around the place must have been unbelievable, and all around the club, all around the city, and it's difficult for it not to infect you, really. I know, when the whistle goes, whether it's at Wembley or wherever it is, you're in focus, you're on the game. But leading up to that, was there any nerves?
No, none at all actually, because we'd got, obviously the League Cup final was 3-4 months before that. And it was a full house. Obviously we went down, we did all the suits, looking around, all the build up to that game was special. So we just literally, I know it sounds a bit, but we saw that just as another game, the next game, because obviously we'd been there that season, we'd played in front of a full house, we'd not performed how we wanted to, but obviously taking all away from Swansea, there was a great side. So yeah, it was just business as usual for us really. I think we travelled down in tracksuits. I think just treat it like a normal away game, where we'd stay over the Friday night instead of doing. I think Northampton at the time, they did what we did in the League Cup semi-final, in the League Cup final, where they come down in suits. They went on the pitch the day before, trained on the pitch, or maybe stayed 2 days before. Where we, again, like I said, we just treated like a normal away game, and obviously the first half we started really well and blew them away.
Right out the blocks.
Yeah,
you were right out the blocks.
Yeah, because like I said, we were just that focused on getting promotion, psychologically as well. We'd beaten them 3 times in that season, so obviously you don't want to pick who you want. We were saying if we can get Northampton, then we're pretty confident if we perform, we'll beat them. And obviously, like I said, we started really well and blew them away after half time.
Brilliant. One of the things that was said about you, and I thought, I mean, in terms of accolades, this guy was one of the best central defenders ever in the country, John Terry. When you beat Chelsea in the FA Cup, John Terry said after the game that you were a bit of a unit and a handful. I mean, they don't come better than that from a big central defender like John, does it really?
Talk about his missus.
No, honestly, after the game, I felt like I didn't actually play that well, to be honest, but I was doing a job for the team. I was playing left midfield in a 4-5-1, which is probably few and far between that I've played at Bradford since probably making my debut in the first 3 or 4 games. So under Phil, that was the first time I played on the left midfield, and I just thought I was basically just doing a job for the team. I could run quite well back then. We didn't really have GPSs or all like that now, but I probably would have been top in the charts. You know what I mean, John? So
he's looking for validation there, John.
So he sort of just, he said to me, just help James Meredith out because they had Mo Salah on the right wing. Yeah. So it was just literally just trap back.
Was it?
Yeah.
Salah?
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, after the game, obviously getting on the bus.
Did you get a shirt?
I got Drogba's, yeah.
What did you get?
I got Drogba's.
You still got it?
No, I'll give it to my best mate.
Was it signed?
He's signed everything, but he's built his own man cave, like, and it's absolutely unbelievable. And you know, I thought it was a bit of a present for him. He can have the Drogba shirt on his wall. So he has got it there. It's not going anywhere, it's there.
Brilliant.
But yeah, anyway, so when I get back on the bus, Billy Knott knew, he was obviously at Chelsea when he was younger, so he sort of knew a few of the senior boys.
Yeah.
And John Terry must have pulled him after the game as he was going in and sort of said to Billy, "Oh, nice to see you, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "Oh, who's that Hanson on the wing?" He says, even though he wasn't playing, he was like, he had the back four was quite young, not young, but inexperienced, so he was in charge of doing the clips 2 days before, so he obviously knew everything about Bradford, our strengths and weaknesses, and
you had an SP on you.
yeah, they'd watched us, like, well, John Terry, like I said, he'd coached them 2 days before the game about how me and John Stead and the other forward players are going to do, and he just said, like, I couldn't believe how strong and how quick and powerful he was when, you know, you see well, he's watching from the bench.
You are a bit of a unit, really, aren't you?
So so it was complimentary. But
I mean, Nick, you know, played centre half. I mean, what chances he got stuck behind with the ball? But the ball's coming.
I've seen him move with Mavericks. He's not too bad.
Finally, before we hand over to a third City legend, I just want to ask you, same as I asked John, favourite manager?
I've split between two, to be honest. Stuart obviously giving me my chance, and then I had 2 spells with him. Unfortunately, in terms of the team, we didn't manage to achieve too much, you know, with the promotion and all that. But probably my main one's got to be Phil, because I played under him most part of my career, 6 years I think I played under Phil. Obviously got some memorable times, League Cup final.
Why was he special?
Just for me, he transformed me from probably an average League 2 striker to, in the end, a top League 1 striker, where obviously clubs was coming in and putting bids in. So yeah, he gave me that mindset to want to play higher and know I could play higher.
Right. Put your hands together for James, please. I want to now bring in the third Bradford City legend. Now, the first thing that this third Bradford City legend said to me was, he said, "Bob, I've scored in Holland." And I assumed you were talking about Amsterdam. I know plenty of people that have scored in Amsterdam, but apparently it was for Bradford City Disabilities team. And the other thing that he told me, which I thought was quite good, was he said that he scored a goal at Valley Parade, correct? And then you were so busy celebrating the goal for, I don't know, 15 minutes on knee slides in front of the cop that you didn't realise that the game had kicked off in the second half. And you were disturbing the game. Is that right?
Well, it took, I managed to score in the cop and actually joined the second team by then. I'd been asked to, and I knew that the team were playing on the pitch. So I said to him, "Can I join you?" He said, "Yeah, all right then." So I'd never even met the team before that. I'd met Paul Jupp, who asked me to join. So basically, I just really enjoyed playing in front of about 16,000. My heart were absolutely racing. So, but yeah, I just really enjoyed sort of representing the club and to be able to score right in front of the couple of.
What position do you play?
Striker.
Well, you were up front like John, because there's a lot of similarity between the pair of you, really, isn't there?
16,000. 16.
Yep.
Wow.
So then I decided to join the club, but unfortunately now working Sundays. I don't play for them anymore, but I'm still friends with them all. And
You got a great buzz out of it, didn't you? Great buzz out of it.
yeah, I did. Absolutely fantastic. And I also sort of just remember I once won the league.
Yeah.
And scored a goal in that as well. So
Lovely. I mean, the other thing is, Nick, obviously, you're very much appreciated by these guys. These are the guys that were the top professionals in the sport, and when you ask them to come out and do something for you, I mean, I think it's fantastic that they come and support you. And I know how much work you put in over the last 6 weeks to put this together tonight, and you know, it's been amazing. Amazing. So, can we have a big hand for Nick, please? It's on this so we're not too worried about it. You've got a couple of questions from people who couldn't be here tonight.
Yep. I've got one for John and one for you, James, off James Hanson, and then if anybody else wants to answer, I'll ask him anything, that's fine. My friend Stuart Morehouse, we'll start with you. Which club did you feel most at home at?
It's an awkward
Bradford, mate, Bradford.
I'm sitting down here by the way.
He's got your dog.
I'm sitting down. I want myself up here. No comment, I'll tell you what. Listen, I love City. I love City to bits and what have you. It's yeah. So we got a fair question into it.
It's nice to catch you out.
It's nice to catch you out there. Is that you or the dog, by the way?
I'm hoping it's the dog.
I'll tell you what, James. You get away with that one? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that one. It's not the first one either. I was sat next to the bottom, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, he's honking.
I'm too tight to fly, you know.
Milo, you can stay over that way, pal. There you go, pal. Yeah, big one.
And then your question is, James, when the header went in against Villa, what was your going through your mind as soon as you scored?
Can't wait to get back to Napoleon's and have a beer. No, to be honest, I headed it and it hit my shoulder. And I don't know if you can see it on the replay, like I've headed it down as if it's going to head down, and it sort of flicked a little bit off my shoulder, and obviously flew into top in like I meant it. So yeah, other than that, it was a fantastic feeling. It was a big goal in the tie, because obviously first half we got absolutely battered. Dukey made unbelievable saves, the back four, midfield four was brilliant. I don't think me and Naki really touched it first half, but we always felt, like I said, when we had a chance at set play, which the first leg we probably was unlucky not to score a couple more, so we always had a chance, you know, to stay in the tie with a set play. And like I said, I knew Gary Jones, we were always going to put it in the mix, and it was the right place, right time, yeah.
That's brilliant. So before we go to the auction, has anybody else got any questions? Mark, do you want to ask one?
Yeah, I think we should have one. I think we should have. Mark, have you got a question, Mark?
I can think of one. Well, one for James actually. So apart from the obvious goals, so the Villa one, the Wembley goal, and probably the one at Leeds at home, what was your favourite City goal? You know, the run-of-the-mill league games.
I've got a couple. My favourite probably was Leighton Orient away. My right foot volley, which I don't obviously get renowned for scoring with my feet too much, so it was extra special, but on my right peg as well, to hit it in the top corner on the volley. And another one was a last minute header against Coventry, which it was, I think I headed it from the edge of the box.
First game at season 2016, yeah.
You know more than me. But yeah, it was a bullet header, to be honest with you. The cross, the power was already on the cross, so it made my header look even better. But yeah.
I'd like to. I've been doing this with Hanson before Nick took over years ago in the club down there. We used to MC it, and there's somebody in tonight who was always a great contributor to the charity, and he's coming tonight with his wife, and I'd like to say thank you to Andy Higgins for he's always supported this cause. And I think he's a Bradford fan, so a Bradford City supporter. I think he would have a question to ask. Go and ask him, Nick.
Put him on the spot now, haven't you?
Why not? Yeah.
I've got a question for John.
My old neighbour.
Alright. John, what's your favourite goal at Bradford City?
Favourite goal at Bradford City? Well, the best one was probably against Carlisle. There was probably hardly anyone at the game because it was a cold, blustery, wet, windy night at Odsall Stadium. Yeah, exactly. That's what we felt we ran out of that as well. I assure you.
We were standing still.
Yeah, it was Baltic it was, and it was a left foot shot for about 30 yards, and wind assisted, not Milo's wind, and it went in like a rocket, and I thought, gee, did I just hit that there? And it was a superb strike it was, but not a lot of people saw it as such. But not a lot of memorable moments. Obviously, first hat trick I think was against Oldham as well. But yeah, Carlisle, because it was a magical goal.
Great. I've got a question.
Who's that? Do you want to do the mic? Or do you want to shout it out?
Yeah, no, I'll shout it out. I guess this is more for James than it is for John. But in terms of fans' reactions to you, like singular performances, obviously you have negative fan reactions. Was there times that you had to, I guess, block that out, or were you confident in your own performance that was never an issue or never something that you had to like battle with?
For me, obviously being a local lad, I get told bits and bats, and for me, I'm always thick-skinned. I've always been thick-skinned, and it was just a case of I knew, as long as my manager knew what I was doing right, you know what I mean. Whereas some fans might see my goal record and go, not scoring enough goals, but a lot of my managers, as long as I'm playing well and performing, winning my headers, winning what I'm good at, then that's all that mattered to me. So in some games they might be like, oh, he's not scored or he's not assisted, but as long as I've done my job, that I'm in the team for, that's all that I was bothered about. And I think that's what gave me a long career at Bradford, because like I said, when I did have a bad game, I didn't really let it affect me. I'd be back in, I'd played every single game. I was fit, really. Bit like Man Friday, like John. But I didn't manage to play as many games as him, so.
Can I just, do you know what, if I was a PFA chairman, I would probably try and ban social media for professional footballers, because you as a manager, it's hard enough being a professional sportsman, not just footballer. So if you're my player, I know when you've had a bad game, you know you've had a bad game. If you're on social media and you're reading comments about yourself over the weekend, you'll come in Monday morning and your head will be all over the shop. And it's like, and I remember even Dean Windus saying to me once, he was 34 years of age, and he was on a dinner, and I said, what's up with you? He said, oh, these people were having a go at me. I said, well, do you know? He said, well, I don't know, social media, whatever. And I went, Bennett, get rid. Just, then you don't read rubbish like that. Because, I mean, you don't even know if it's your supporters or rival team supporters as well. So, I mean, and that's what I don't get. I do not get why professional sportsmen or footballers are on social media. What do they gain from it? Is it their ego or whatever?
It's worse now, though, isn't it?
When
even critics in a newspaper before social media was a thing.
Yeah, it was just newspaper.
But this is a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, and that's but if you're not on it and you don't see it, then life's a lot easier.
That's exactly. I've never been on social media.
Yeah,
even when I signed at Bradford, best advice Chris Brandon gave me was, bloody hell, John, I brought my nose out, I can still score.
Listen, this is my lad. It's not my dog, it's my. I'll tell you the story here, guys. So, our Jordan's 30 tomorrow, right? So he's in Dublin, and he's left his little baby, and he's left his baby and his pup with me and the missus. He's been up since 5 o'clock this morning. So, well, we're looking after my other son's daughter as well. So, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and 2 dogs. So, my dog was here, be well behaved, but this is his pup, and my missus says, you ain't leaving the pup as well as the baby tonight. It's a good job it's not alone, because she would have kicked it up the backside.
It's not like you don't.
It's not.
Okay, just before we go to the auction, I just want to say about these two guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks, James.
You're welcome. No problem.
Joe, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Because, I'll put it for my in terms of interviewing players, and I won't name any clubs, but these days there's so much money in football, and this is not a Premier League club, this is maybe a Championship club, where they have a man of the match after the game, and it's really, really difficult to get the guy who's man of the match to come up and speak in the lounges. And when they do come up, they have a minder with them, and they say to the kids, no photographs, no autographs. I mean, that is taking the game of football way away from the real supporters, as if it's an effort. These guys, John, in your day, and James, you were only too happy to mix with supporters, weren't you?
It's your job. It's your job, guys. It's like that's what it is. It's your job, and it's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? But there's too many jobs for too many people. Football clubs now, they put media managers in, and they can't get near the players as such. Give me my era any day before today.
Absolutely.
As a player.
Absolutely.
Without a shadow.
Okay, we want to move on to the auction now. Just to fill everybody in, we're trying to sort of bring this whole fundraising thing together, Nick.
Yep.
And very well. We've got a £150 bid for the frame shirt.
Yep.
Yep.
Same thing that played against Liverpool in 2019.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I think I'm going to pass over to you to do this. I think you can do it very well.
Yep. So this one's currently £150. It's from 2019. This one is signed by, it's our away top from this season, signed by the current squad, and the paperwork to get promoted then. But I think that'll be worth quite a bit more, so if anyone wants to come and see me with a bid later on, or put a bid in, let me know. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then we're going to make it a wrap now, and great John, great to see you again. James, lovely to meet you, and thanks everybody. We're going to do I think you're going to do the draw, we're going to have a break for half an hour, the guys can get off if they want to get off, because he's a full pint of Guinness and he's going to be sailing over the top. And you're going to do the draw later, Nick, yeah? Okay, so thank you everybody.
Thanks.